the mark and be rejected of the Lord because they didn't attend enough church services, or because they didn't go to every night of a 7-day revival week that was held at the church, or because they missed Wednesday night Bible study 3 times, or because they didn't study the Bible every day, or because they didn't pray for 2 hours in the morning before they went to work. That's not what's going to cause people to be lost. What's going to cause people to be lost is not checking their thoughts. That's what's going to cause folks to be lost. Because see, the Lord said that, say unto me, Lord, Lord, but I never knew you. He said, Lord, we prophesied in your name. We cast out devils in your name. We fed the poor in your name. We gave clothes to the mission in your name. I said good morning and God bless you in your name. I wore nice suits and nice shoes and spoke real profound in your name. And the people clapped for me in your name. But he said, I never knew you. He said, you that work iniquity. Because it is those secret thoughts that lead to secret actions that the folks in the pews don't see. It's those secret thoughts that lead to secret actions that your wife doesn't see, and that your kids don't see, and that the husband don't see, and that your parents don't see. It is those things that are going to cause folks to be lost. Because see, it is me standing up here that brings the esteem of men. But people don't know what the Lord knows. So it's your thoughts that you have to check. And we'll again talk about that a little later. But let's see what Yeshua said proceeds from, as he expounds on Jeremiah 17, verse 9. Let's see what he says in Matthew chapter 15, verse 19, I'm sorry. He says, for out of the heart proceed evil thoughts, murders. Now he starts with what? Evil thoughts. Because those evil thoughts, that's the beginning of it all. The evil thoughts lead to murders and adulteries and fornications and thefts and false witness and blasphemies. The actions don't come without a starting point, beloved. So the evil thoughts is the first thing that he mentions. See, the Lord knows how to choose his words carefully. The evil thoughts are going to lead to all these other things. Why? Because the heart of a man is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. So as he expounds on that, let that rest in your mind and remember that whenever you have a thought. But see, he goes beyond that. He says if you hate your brother without cause, you've done what? Committed murder. Oh, that girl, she look good. You committed adultery already. Fornication has already set itself in your heart. So when he talks about evil thoughts, he's letting us know again that the thoughts are connected with the actions. So when he talks about adultery, he said it was said in old times, thou shalt not commit adultery. And they thinking, long as I don't actually lie with this woman or this man, I haven't committed adultery. The Lord said, listen, man, look, let's stay away from that gym. Work at home. There's a whole lot of temptation at the gym. Better know it. They sell DVDs. Right? Everybody got DVD player, Blu-ray. There's a whole lot of temptation that can bring you to that adultery. You have to guard your heart. You can't put yourself in a position where your thoughts are now affected in a way that draw you away from the holiness of God. Let's see what David says. David talks about this right here in Psalm 66. Let's go to Psalm 66. If I'm moving too fast, let me know. Somebody raise their hand. I'm not here to excite you. I'm here to teach you. So, if I'm moving too fast, or you just want, you want 2 to 5 seconds just to let what I said settle in and let the scripture rest upon your mind, I'll pause for a minute. Because this is not about me. This is about what he has given and what he has dealt with me in, so that I can share it with you. And prayerfully it affects you in the same way it's affected me. But David says something really, really important in Psalm 66, verse 18. When you have it, say amen. Amen. He says, if I regard iniquity in my heart, the Lord will not hear me. Question. Whenever somebody's talking about something in their heart, who usually goes like this. Don't everybody do this, right? I feel it in my heart. But see, this is an organ that pumps blood. The heart of a man, when the Bible speaks, is talking about here. So David says, if I regard iniquity, let's change the term. If I regard iniquity in my mind, if I regard iniquity in my thoughts, if I regard iniquity in my conscience, the Lord would not hear me. So in other words, he says, if I know I'm holding on to some sinful thought in my mind, whether that be lust, anger, malice, unforgiveness, hatred, envy, jealousy, variance, emulations, you know the things the Bible talks about. He says the Lord will not hear me. So what you need to do is you need to come up off your knees. Amen. Instead of praying for things, and you need to ask for some forgiveness. Amen. Now, if you need to ask forgiveness from somebody else, you need to get that done first. What did he say? Leave your gift at the altar. Go make right with your brother the offense that you've done against him. Amen. And then come back to the altar of prayer. But until that thing is reconciled, you need to get up off your knees. What did he tell Joshua? When Achan had taken the spoils from Jericho and there was sin in the camp. Now, granted, the sin of the congregation doesn't affect the pastor in this dispensation, but the principle of the thing is the same. He looked at Israel as a nation. And there's sin in the camp, Joshua. Get off your knees, stop praying to me, and go find that sin and eradicate that sin from the camp. Otherwise, your prayer will not be heard. Come on, Lord. Come on. That's all right. So the sin, if it be regarded and found in the camp, must be removed in order for you to be heard. What does it mean to regard? Let's talk about words. See, words define words. And a lot of times, you know, folks are talking and they're using words, using words like superfluous and stuff like that. They don't even know what it means. You know, they got a dictionary up here with them. Words define words. The word regard here is applicable in this way. It means to love and esteem, to practice. David said, if I esteem or hold dear and have affection for sin in my mind, the Lord will not hear me. Think about what you're thinking. Think about what you're thinking. The psalmist understands that the deeds of men find their beginnings in the mind or heart. What did he say? How does he combat this regarding of iniquity in his heart? How does he combat that? Let's turn to Psalm 119, verse 11. Let's turn there. See how David dealt with the weeds, right? The weeds are trying to grow, but I got to keep weeding. This weeding process is a constant thing. It's a daily thing. Paul said, I die daily. Right? But my inner man is renewed day by day. So this weeding process is a constant thing. Why? Because the heart naturally is deceitfully wicked. And see, a lot of folks, when they come to the altar, pastor and elder, when they come and you open up the baptism pool, you take up a portion of the floor and folk get baptized, and then the next day they're trying to figure out, or even later that night, why am I having these thoughts? I got saved. Why am I thinking about this? Why do I still have this attraction to pornography when I just got baptized this morning? Why do I still feel anger and hatred toward my mother and my father or my sister and my brother when I just got baptized this morning? Because the weeding process goes on every day, throughout the day. Because what happens is when I was in the world, I hate on somebody, it didn't matter. I don't like them, so what? And if I see them again, I tell you what I'm going to do to them. But when you give your life to Christ, now you got two things fighting, right? Paul said, I find that in my members, in my body, I want to sin. But with my mind, I serve the law of God. So I find that now there's a fight going on. Before, when I was just shadow boxing and playing games, now I found that when I threw a punch, I got hit back. And it hurt. So now I need to go to my trainer, right? I need to be taught how to fight, how to resist, how to stand firm and hold my ground and set my legs. I had to be taught how to fight in this thing, because before I was just moved about. When Satan and sin was my trainer, I did whatever they wanted. Now I got a new man in my corner. I got a new man in my corner. Now I need to learn how to fight all over again. Because my form was wrong. My form was wrong, and I was tossed about by every desire and every thought and every inclination to do what I wanted to do. But Psalm 119, verse 11, David again gives us great wisdom and understanding. First he said, if I regard iniquity in my heart, if I esteem iniquity and give it place in my heart, the Lord will not hear me. So he said, I got a remedy for that. I have a solution for that. In verse 11 in Psalm 119, he says, your word have I hid in my heart that I might not sin against thee. So he said, I got a remedy for this weed, this thing called sin that keeps trying to spring up in my heart, this iniquity that keeps trying to find ground in my life. I'm going to put something there that's going to keep it from setting root.
All right.
Amen.
Amen.
I'm going to put something there that's going to keep it from growing.
Yeah.
Now the word hid here is a beautiful word. It's only 3 letters, but it means, similar to regard, it means to have esteem for something, to give value to something. What would happen if you found, say you went on vacation to Bahamas or something somewhere, and you walking on the beach and you see something sticking out of the sand? Or let's say you moved to the Bahamas. Let's say you stay there because, you know, immigration and customs, they're not going to let you bring a chest back. They're going to want to check it when they find out what's in it. Now you're going to confiscate your goods. So let's say you move to the Bahamas somewhere where it's islands and stuff, you know, and they got pirate stories and stuff like that, you know. And you see something sticking out of the sand, you go over there and check it, and it's a chest full of gold. What's the first thing you're going to do? You going to do what? You're going to hide it. Because the first thought you have is, nobody finna get my money. That's why I say finna get my money. I got people from the South. So you're going to hide it because it's valuable to you. And you're going to put it somewhere that it can be kept for safekeeping. So the Bible has to be, the Bible talks about the word being better than gold, right? Sweeter than honey on a honeycomb and things like that. So you're going to put it, if you hide it in your mind as a valuable treasure, see now the treasure's hidden and nobody can take it. But guess what? When I'm a little low on funds and I'm checking my pockets, let me go back to my chest with gold in it.
Amen.
And get what I need from that treasure chest. So the word of God has to be like a treasure chest that you go to when you need.
Amen.
When you need the resources to get the things that you need. So he said, I treasure this thing in my mind so that I might not sin against you, because I know that every sin is preceded by a thought. David had the opportunity when he saw Bathsheba across the way on a rooftop bathing. David should have went and ran to the scriptures. But David went and ran to his servant and said, look here. So the young lady that was about 3 blocks away. Bring her here for me, please. Boy, them weeds set in. Started springing up. Choked out all that Bible in his mind. Just choked it right out. And he was caught. He was caught. See, understand this. I was watching something the other day. And matter of fact, yesterday, me and Josiah were watching something. It's called Fatal Attraction, about people who like to collect exotic animals. And in this particular case, it was talking about this man who had tigers. First of all, let me say he's crazy. But he was in the water with the tiger, and he said that when the tiger's in the water in the wild and it sees an animal, a hippopotamus or something that it can kill for food, he said its mind locks up. And it has one thought. I need to catch this animal. Whatever it is, I'm hungry, I need to catch this animal. And he was in the water with the tiger, and it was a young tiger, adolescent, he wasn't full grown, and he kept lunging at the man and trying to grab him. Now, whether he was going to try to eat him when he got him, I don't know. But the tiger kept lunging at the man, and he said he's doing that because his natural instinct is to go after an animal in the water. His mind locks up. Understand this, your flesh is a predator. And when your flesh sees something it wants, your mind will lock up. And if you don't go on to the key to unlock your mind